Relax and get loose while I put you up on game. The Figure Booth with Josh and Nate. This that podcast for those in the know. Batman vs. Iron Man, how would it go? We talking one of a kind, collectibles. Mezco toys are respectable. It's unacceptable if it's not in the packaging. Nate don't take pics if you ain't rapping it. Nate's dirty tricks are always happening, but damn it, man, don't you be stressing. Round here we believe in plastic confessions. We trying to figure out the figures that's gonna stand the test of time. That G.I. Joe handmade hit me in the spine. There's perfection in the way that these toys are made. But I also wanna know, do I pick Wade or Slade? So this is where I come to kick it with the guys. The Figure Booth. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Welcome to the Figure Booth channel here, where we talk about the ups and downs of being a modern day collector. We go over pre-orders, we share our plastic confessions, and from time to time we do interviews with those in that toy community. I'm your host Josh, aka Prime to the First, and I'm joined by my friend co-host Nate.
Hey guys, it's Nate, aka FigureFan_Nate, and welcome to another episode of the Figure Booth, episode 68, which we're calling the Variant Edition.
Oh, very limited.
Very
1 in 50?
exclusive.
It's exclusive.
Yeah.
Why?
And you
why
can't
the
use
variant?
your reward points to purchase
Of
it
course. That was gonna be my first gripe. If I can't use my points, then I don't even want to listen to it.
It's like, why though? It's an exclusive.
Don't be cautious with the why. You've been getting called out. We've been getting called
Whoa.
out by too many points. So that has nothing to do with the why. That's almost like the secret code word, like in Pee-wee's Playhouse. You hear that and everyone goes bananas. You take a shot. Maybe we'll turn it into a drinking game or something.
Yeah, right. I almost want to say it every single episode, even if it's not related at all. You know?
But that's no, yeah. So and that's not what we're talking about. We're not even talking
No.
about the why or
No.
but why did we decide to call this episode the Variant Edition? What's our topic for this week? Sit down, relax, get loose. Let's get ready. Crack one open, sit back and let's enjoy the show.
Nice. I like that. Yes, please enjoy. But yeah, we're talking about the Variant Edition, and what we mean Variant Edition, it's almost like variants of ourselves.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Or thinking of like a variant in how you collect.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times we're talking about, managing the collection, keeping the focus. Hey, I need to limit what I'm buying. I've got too much stuff. But I don't think we've ever really talked about is, instead of collecting as much, maybe let's collect better.
Oh, yeah. Changing the aperture on it, like letting less light, letting less figures in, kind of,
Whoa.
flipping it's, hey, if you didn't have 2 pairs of socks, I just blew 1 pair off. So, but and I love that when you sent that topic to me. I think a lot of us, again, we go through these seasons and we're at this point where it's a reoccurring theme where people are like, I don't have any space. And we see these fire sales and people just dumping figures, or a lot of us collectors saying this is like the golden age of collecting because there's so much. And all these memes of Michael Jordan crying and our wallets crying, and our wallets are on like life support. And it seems like, especially right now, it's the fourth quarter, it's Christmas, it's end of the year. Everyone that's in the toy making business is pushing their product. If it's not pre-orders, it's last minute, hey, we're going to process your pre-orders that you pre-ordered 2 years ago, or we're showing new product and then they go up for pre-order the day after, or maybe new Kickstarters are coming out and you want to support that. So it's just like, it's constant. I think there's so much stimulants out there that it's like, what do I collect? I just want to collect everything, and different lines too, and different properties. And I think as a collector now, that's really tough. Like, you can't find your niche, your specific area to collect, because you want to dabble in everything. You're seeing like collectors like Trevor, who's Mythic Legions, and it's like, I want to get into Mythic Legions, but then I see like cool stuff from Mezco. It's like, I want to get into Mezco, and I want to get into Legends. And if I was to be a novice collector, stepping into this game, I'd be really, really scared and overwhelmed. I wouldn't be able to keep up with anybody.
Yeah. And I think that's it's funny that you say that, because that's like, I think, a common mistake that a lot of new collectors make is not having a filter for what they collect.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is available at Target, and I've seen a lot of people post it, so let me grab this.
Right.
And oh, this DC Multiverse figure is cool. I'll get that. And hey,
Yeah.
look at this NECA turtle thing over here. That's cool. Oh,
Yeah.
did you say a new Mezco drop? Let me get that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're so all over the place. At least I was when I first started.
For sure.
And it wasn't until time goes on that you start to focus. But even with that, like you're talking about, we're in this golden age of collecting. There's so much good stuff coming out that I'm interested in. And there's a lot of different versions of maybe some of the same figures that I have. Maybe it's an updated version or a reissue or something like that. I started asking myself, like, you know, do I really need 10 different Spideys of this costume?
Yeah.
Or could I collect maybe 2 or 3 of them, but then add some more usability to that, like a custom head sculpt?
Right.
You know, I think custom head sculpts add a lot of more usability to figures rather than just being at like a one and done type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can make that into a different Spidey, maybe by changing the head sculpt.
Right. You bring up two really good points. The first one is realizing that it's so funny that realizing that you have the same figure in 10 different lines. Like I was looking around at my collection. I'm like, wow, I have Wolverine. I'm not the biggest Wolverine fan, but if you were to look at my collection, you'd be like, man, you're pretty hardcore Wolverine because I have the Legends Wolverine, I have the Mafex Wolverine, I have the Yamaguchi Wolverine, I have the Mezco Wolverine. Like, how many Wolverines do you need? And then like Tiger Suit, the brown suit. You know, it's you have all the variations first appearance Wolverine. I have the Logan from the third party. Like, how many other Wolverines do you need? And let's not even talk about Spider-Man, where I have all the different variations. And then I start to take a step back, and I'm like, do I really? Is it a need or a want? Is it a combination of both? But then how do I like? I can't just keep acquiring every single version because what's the end goal? Like, am I looking to fulfill something? Obviously, I'm not happy, or I'm not sad, or if I am happy, then this should be a stopping point. And if I'm not happy, then I should sell them and get rid of them, and then wait, or hang on to them, like almost like a lease, like when you lease a car, just hang on to it for a year and then sell it, and then get the new version.
I'm done with this. Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times that's what we wait for. We wait for the new updated version, and a lot of companies now they're updating their figures. Everyone from Legends to SHF to Figma, you know, like across the market, it's you get updated versions where the paint scheme is different, or they come with different accessories, and automatically like this one is the best one. Like Mayfix has dropped several different types of Spider-Man where it's like the comic, the shell shaded, the classic, the black suit Spider. You know, so it's like, what am I waiting for? Am I waiting for the perfect ideal figure, like my one true only Spider-Man, or do I want, like you said, do I want 2 or 3? That was the first. The second one, I forgot what the second one, because now I lost my train of thought. But it's crazy how you start to look back and here's the second point was I'm getting so much that I'm running out of space, and I want to get all this new stuff. Like all this, all these figures I've accumulated and I've collected from the years don't give me the opportunity to collect some of the new stuff or some of the new lines I want to get into, like Mythic Legions, or like I really want to get more into Joy Toy. And I've been a Joy Toy fan for like this is my third year now, but I've been really limited on what I can buy, how deep I can go into the line, just because I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? Like I have freaking Galactus behind me. I have other stuff that's just taking up space, and maybe I'm not enjoying it as much. So I feel like I do need to have that purge session, or just like put a pause on everything and get rid of a bunch of stuff just so I can make space, not only mentally, but like physically, like just get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
and,
hard.
you know, it's a way to kind of put the brakes on what you're, as much as what you're getting, you know?
Yeah.
Because we think about, like, we talk about how do I stay focused or how do I limit my collecting? And
Yeah.
it's knowing when to say no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that, you know? And
Yeah.
like you're describing your Wolverine collection, it reminds me of my Batman collection. I've got so many different versions of Batman, and I bought, you know, the 3 different Mafex Dark Knight Returns versions. And looking back, I'm like, I don't need all 3. I could have just done with 1.
Yeah.
And then maybe sought out some of the extra head sculpts. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about too, is you can get multiple versions of a figure by just acquiring the different head sculpts. You know, One thing that I see a lot of people doing, really specifically with Mezco, but I start to see it a lot with a lot of other figures, is they piecemeal them out. Meaning they'll sell, they'll take a PSCC set,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, hey, do you like the head sculpt? Cool. Head sculpt's for sale, $20.
Yeah.
Boom. So go buy that head sculpt.
Yeah.
Do you like his sunglasses? Cool. Sunglasses are 2 for $5 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
So as a collector, that's a great way to kind of get some money out of maybe the figures you're not using as much, if you're okay with getting rid of some of the accessories. And then also, as a buyer, that's a great way not to have to spend all this money on a new figure just for maybe 1 or 2 pieces that you're looking for.
Right.
You can find somebody is piecing it out. So I'm getting maybe a bit more open to that idea, or looking at ways that I can get what I want in different ways, without having to purchase it. I think a great example is that Sentinel Peter B. Parker.
Mm-hmm.
The Mafex came out and it had cloth goods, but maybe some people passed on that. So now they want their Sentinel Peter B. Parker to have the cloth goods. You can go to 5K Toys, or I think VC's Toy Box, and get clothing packs of basically the Mafex soft goods to use with your Sentinel. So you don't have to go and buy that Mafex figure, which is maybe $100.
Yeah.
You can go to 5K or VC's Toy Box and go spend $25 and get those cloth goods, and then you don't have to worry about this extra figure that is adding to your pile of crap. So I'm trying to think of, like, and I can't remember who said this. I got this idea from someone else, I think on one of their streams. So if you hear this and you're like, hey, this sounds familiar, it's probably because of you. But yeah, it's just like, there's other ways to make your collection more usable.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, I get it, it sits in a box, or I get it and I'm happy with it for a couple of years, then it goes and sits in my box and I never use it again. So I'm thinking, how can we add more usability to our figures? How can we make them valuable again, or at least something that we want to mess with or look at, or whatever the case may be. Just to add that extra usability and reduce the need to have to continue buying new stuff.
Yeah, and that, I think in itself, that's the challenge right there, because we've talked about it on several occasions where it's a huge daunting task just to piece out and think, okay, what am I going to sell? What am I going to part with? Seeing all the boxes and boxes of stuff, and especially like a lot of my figures are loose. I separate everything. Like I put all the accessories, they're all in their own containers and stuff. And now I have to like go through all the loose figures and then match all the accessories. Like if Spider-Man back in the day, they came with like 6 different hands. They came with the cheesy little web shooters, the web lines that, a lot of the accessories look so much alike, where you're like, okay, which is this Pizza Spidey? Is this Cosmic Spidey? Is this UK Spidey? Like which Spidey is it? And the slight variation on just the reds, like the hues are a little different. Is this retro Spidey, or is this I don't have the time nor the patience to sit through there and match everything correctly, let alone I'm to the point where I'm like, you know what, just someone throw me an offer and take all these figures, because I need all the space, because I want more figures, But at the same time, I feel like that was a time where I was so crazy and hard on going into collecting that I just wanted to collect everything. Sometimes I open up some of these boxes, I'm like, I have everything from Legends to NECA to third party to Hot Wheels. It's just like madness. So I'm like, sometimes I could almost appreciate those collectors that don't have they don't have either the experience or the capacity to buy everything. They're like, oh, I only have $30 this month to spend on a figure, so I'm gonna make, like, I almost feel like they are gonna appreciate that figure much more than someone that has like a handful of pre-orders coming through, because it's just like, it's whatever. So lately I have stayed away from pre-ordering anything. Like I think this is my 3rd month. I almost feel like I've been dry for 3 months, like no pre-orders. And it's hard because I like, even Star Wars was, I think, the first one where, and this is like my 3rd year staying away from Star Wars, where they come out with so much good stuff. And I used to be a hardcore Star Wars fan, but I'm like, nope, if I let alone if I can't keep track of the movies in order, I can't be collecting these figures. So I stopped collecting them completely, but I see the stuff, and every time I go down the aisle, I'm like, damn, I go through the peg and look at what's new, and I've seen some really cool releases where everyone's hunting for this particular figure, and I see it, and I'm having it in my hand, and I'm like, I should probably get this, and I'm like, what? Wait, nope. Why am I gonna get this? Just put it back, leave it for someone who's actually looking for it, or if someone I know is looking for it, I'll message them, be like, hey, it's here. Do you want it? Things like that, helping those out in the community. But
Yeah.
once that became a habit, then that was really easy. So now I think like I'm ready to introduce like one or two lines. And like lately it's been with Mezco. I've been holding off a lot with like the pre-orders that they've been dropping. I think this is like my second month where I'm like, nope, I haven't picked up anything, So it's a little weird where I'm just like itching and I'm ready to hit pre-order, but then I'm like, nope, let me just put the phone down. I'll be back in an hour, and if I still want it and it's still there, and then I'll get it, and then it's waitlisted. And I'm like, obviously it wasn't meant for me.
Right. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and it'll work
Yeah.
out. And like you can't like sweat over the fact like, oh no, I missed this
The FOMO. You
pre-order
can't let the
window.
FOMO take over. Yeah.
Exactly. The FOMO is real and it takes hold, and you gotta be aware of it and not subject yourself to that, because you're only in a rat race with yourself.
Yeah.
And people have asked me like, what is it that you don't like Mezco anymore, or what's going on? I'm like, no, man, I still love Mezco.
Yeah.
I just choose not to collect as much of it. I'm trying to be more responsible and realizing like, do I need both sets of the new PSCC just because they come with some other stuff? Or, that Cousin Eddie's a really good example, at least for me. Do I need both Cousin Eddies?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with one Cousin Eddie, and I can take the clothes off of a PSCC and put it on Cousin Eddie, and I'm just fine with that.
Yeah.
Just do the work. Like you said, I don't need to spend an extra $200 on these figures when I could spend maybe $75 on eBay just to get some of that, those accessories.
You know what's crazy? When they first when we talked about the reveals, like I think both of us, we were all over that Cousin Eddie. We're like, yep, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do, and it's like, that's the hype. Like we get it. We're like, yeah. But then when it dropped, I was like, I have. And the thing is, I have already two Cousin Eddies. Like when that PO dropped, I bought two of them. Like I have one that's still
nice, the advent calendar.
Yeah, the advent calendar. I have still one sealed, like it's still mid box, and the other one I opened. I think that's when we did the stream. We opened it together, but the other one, it's still. I'm like, I haven't even opened that one. One, because I love the packaging. I'm thinking about opening it this year, but I'm like, I just love knowing that I have one like perfectly sealed. It's not hasn't been messed with. But then that's like now I'm starting to do that. Like now I'm getting double. At one point I was getting doubles of stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's like I need to be able to enjoy them. I haven't even enjoyed the first Eddie as much as I wanted to. So yeah, I think that kind of puts it in perspective where like I'm collecting and it's not that I'm collecting so much. I think figures are dropping so fast now without us even realizing it, because we're collecting so many different lines that I'm not giving myself the time to appreciate the figure. And I think now that I've kind of put the brakes on it, my pre-order, I'm just waiting for my pre-orders to come and hit. And once I get the notification of stuff I pre-ordered like in the beginning of the year, or if not years prior, right? Once I take care of that pre-order, or a lot of times I've already paid for them and I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about this. And it comes in. I feel like lately I've been enjoying it more. On this last enabler stream, I opened a bunch of stuff that just came in from pre-orders that when they first dropped, and one of them was like that retro Iron Man, and for my birthday I got a gift card and I picked up a 40th anniversary He-Man, and it's crazy, those two, the retro Iron Man and that He-Man, it's like I've been enjoying them so much, and they're still sitting up here on my desk, and it's been a couple weeks that I've opened them, and that to me I'm like, I usually open them and they go like in a box or something.
Yeah, and I think that resonates with a lot of people, that kind of experience. And I had kind of a moment of clarity when I was at Legion's Con, and I was waiting. I told you I waited in line for like a good 4 hours.
Yeah.
Just to get the exclusives, which I realized I didn't even have to do that because they had a separate line anyways.
Yeah.
But then I stayed in that line because I was like, well, I got to get these figures that are maybe harder to find. And then looking back, I'm like, I didn't really have to do that either, because they were putting out new stuff throughout the day. And why am I racing to get more figures when I haven't even opened a couple of Legions that I have? And I look back and I'm like, man, I really wish I would have spent more time going to the customizers tables and looking at all their wares when I had a chance and they had full stock, rather than spending that time in that line and wasting all that time. And I get to these customizers and a lot of their stuff's gone because there's other people that are smarter than me and decided that was the first priority.
Yeah.
So, I start thinking to myself, like, why am I in this rat race to keep getting these new figures? Why don't I add some more usability to what I have and focus on stuff like custom heads? Because everybody's like, not everybody.
Yeah.
You hear people like, oh, how much does you want for that custom head? Like this or that. And you can't compare it. A custom head's nothing like a packaged figure in a box that is mass produced.
Yeah.
A custom head is custom. There's extra time and effort and paint that goes into it. So at Legion's Con, I thought I was getting really good prices for that. But I think because I had bought so many figures, I'm like, well, maybe I won't buy as much custom stuff, and I regret it big time.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Just I've gone through same thing. Like I've gone through the point where I think I had like one or two Mezco Batmans that just started becoming my favorites, and I was really messing with them. I got custom capes from them. First, I started out from like GPS lock capes. Then I got some Harker custom capes. Then I got I think that those were the two, GPS lot and then Harker custom capes. But then the minute I threw them on there, like it totally changed the figure. Like it almost felt like I got a brand new Mezco figure. Took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And then I got a Daredevil 19 custom capes. Hopefully I said his username right. But those between those three, like one different types, they're all great quality. Between Harker custom and Daredevil 19 custom, and then just different variation. I was throwing them on my Batmans and it completely changed the look. And then after that, I was like, oh, I need some custom head sculpts. And then I became addicted to that. The great thing about that is my eye really turned and I was watching customizers much more closely and paying less attention to like what was dropping from the big toy companies because I really felt like I was satisfied with the BVS Mezco Batman and the Justice League Batman, the armored Batman. Those two popped off the Ben Affleck heads, but picked up these custom heads. And I don't even remember where I got them from. It could have been on Facebook, somewhere on IG post. And then I started getting a couple of, like some Bruce Wayne heads. And I think I accumulated like 5 or 6 different custom Batman heads and like Bruce Wayne heads, where then I was like, man, these two figures, they were like my favorite figures for like a good straight 2 years, and like nothing else hanged out on my shelf. And now I'm like, man, I wish I would have stuck to it, because I did end up with a handful of custom heads. Like I got this monkey custom head. I got a couple other custom heads that haven't even taken out of their boxes. There's still one still here, and it's still inside its little box. Like I haven't even taken it out. So I think even that custom game, I was getting so caught up. I bought like a little Robin suit that I can throw on a Robin. I have a Robin head somewhere in the box, and like it's like you get so caught up in it.
Yeah.
That
rat race.
You forget about it. I have a custom Bane that I was working on, and I got the custom head. I got some soft goods, and it's sitting like in a bin. Like I haven't finished it yet. And then, it's the custom Bane that you see everyone that use the Storm Collectibles Alex body. So it's going to be a really good Bane once I hopefully finish it. But it reminds me, like, man, that was some good time, because I was enjoying that one figure, but I felt like it was a brand new one every time I throw on a different custom head on there.
Yeah. No, those are great examples of how you can not collect as much, but collect better, add more usability to what you have, because it gave you a whole new appreciation for the figure. I look back at some of the early Mezcos that I bought, and I bought every color of the Sovereign Knight. I'm like, why? Why did I do that? There's no reason, because I shoot maybe 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
And not just outside of custom heads and clothing. Yeah. And that's all good too, but other things that you can add that will enhance your figures, whether you're into toy photography, like for instance, investing in a Dio rather than buying this next wave of Legends because it's an updated Wolverine or it's updated Spider-Man. Do I need that next wave of Legends, or should I maybe spend that $100 on a budget Dio from Prime, or should I go buy a Dio from 78 points? And hey, that's a way I can add some more usability to my figures to put them in different dynamic scenes and take some shots. And I feel toy photography is one of those things where I really feel like I am getting that extra usability, because I'm breaking them out and I'm putting them in different poses and trying all the different accessories on. So that's another thing too, is like, maybe if you haven't tried that and you're interested, then try that. There's a lot of different ways to enhance your collection outside of just buying new stuff. So we call this the variant edition because it's a
Yeah.
variant of ourselves too.
Right.
You have to change your mindset. You got to change your thought process. Otherwise, you're going to be in that same rat race all the time. But I have talked to people before, like, hey, you should go get a dial. Well, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, maybe don't buy those 3 figures that you picked up last week.
Yeah.
And instead of that, invest that money into a dial. And
Yeah.
I'm not judging anybody. I don't want anybody to take this personally. It's just an idea on, how you could collect differently. Is all
Yeah.
I'm trying to
And a
say.
lot of times, like jumping on those waves as soon as they drop, especially like right now, like just saw someone post a video, and they were like at their local Ross, and they had like 2 waves of legends there, and they were like $8 each. Like it's crazy the spots that you start. There's so much figures coming out. Like even Amazon was throwing.
Yeah.
They've been having sales a lot lately, and once you've been collecting for some time, you can kind of play it and figure out the season where you're like, okay, they've been out for this amount. If the retailers can't get rid of them, they're going to throw up on sale, or you'll see them at these discount stores like Ross or Marshalls. Or, I mean, I
Yeah.
saw someone on the Facebook group post like they found a bunch of legends at the store called Burlington Co. Factory, and it's like, and they were like, it's rock bottom prices. They were like $4.99, $5. It's crazy, and especially like a good example like Legends, because they dropped so much. And even though a lot of fans still complain, they're like, oh, they're not. You take a look at the amount of figures they dropped in a year. It's a ton of waves, and
Right.
each wave. Sometimes they're doing comic waves, and they're doing Marvel MCU waves back to back, where you're getting about close to what 15, maybe 20 figures, because you take into consideration the deluxe figure or standalone exclusives. Sometimes those exclusives like Walgreens sometimes will have like these crazy sales where it's like buy one get one, buy two get one free, things like that. So I guess seeing if you're specifically in the Legends game, I think playing it by ear and just waiting it out sometimes pays off, especially right now because they're dropping so much.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And another way of how you can collect better is by waiting for those deals.
Yeah.
Like we're seeing right now in this time of year, there's deals everywhere. I mean, there's stores doing deals. I see a bunch of people on Instagram doing deals on figures, trying to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
So to Prime's point, rather than buying that wave that is going to drop in like August, September, save your money and then wait until November.
Yeah.
And then buy it half off, and boom, you got the wave, and you spend a lot less money on it, and you're collecting better because you're spending your money smarter.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I've been seeing lots of posts with like these epic hauls, and one guy he posted he got he got some killer deals, and then at the end of it he posted like, oh, this all cost me like it was under $50, and it was crazy. I'm like, damn, like
Insane.
again, really smart. Like he took advantage of the Black Friday deals, and even some other websites like Dorklayer did a good job of posting deepdiscount.com, which the site I've never heard of, but they were doing some killer deals, and again, just keeping an eye out for the community always looks out for each other. And it's crazy. Right now I'm seeing some epic hauls and people are like, hey, I spent like $50 and I got like these 10 figures. It's like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. And you look at that, you're like, I have 2 of those and I spent full price on that. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Kicking yourself in the nuts for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just some of our ideas, and another idea I like before we move on is, speaking about variant editions of ourselves. And we had this when we were talking about Trevor. He'd said it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a topic." But let's combine it with something else. Have you ever asked yourself, what if you never started collecting toys, Prime?
What if I never started?
Yeah, like how would your life be different? Can you even imagine that?
That's
how
crazy.
it would be different. Yeah.
If I never started collecting, I don't know. I think it probably I wouldn't be as creative. I'd be like, I wouldn't have this outlet of like making stuff because as the collector in me has taught me to look at things a little differently and in a different scale. And then also it's also really helped with understanding my kids because I get that when you see something on the shelf as a kid, like you just want it. And a lot of times, like especially before I had kids, I would see parents with their kids and they're like, no, you're not gonna like you're gonna get one, just pick one. And the kid would be like, oh, I need the good guy and the bad guy, and the parents just buy them one, or they buy them something that totally doesn't even go. And in my mind, I'm like, you gotta get them the bad guy and the good guy, or you gotta get them the set, or you gotta get them you gotta complete the picture. And I think only if you're a kid and a collector, you can appreciate that. So I've always been able to relate on that level with my kids, where I'm like, hey, you can get the really big dinosaur and then we'll have to wait it out, or you can get like bits and pieces and kind of like do this, so that way when you get back home and you're playing with your toys, you're just not stuck with like one lonely big ass T-Rex, and then you have like, what's it gonna eat? And a lot of times, if you're not a collector, you don't really think like that, or I don't know, like as a kid at heart, you don't really think like that. So being a collector has kind of helped me with my kids, where I'm like, hey, what about, I'm more, I guess I can appreciate their love or their attention to having toys. Like I get that they need to have toys. I think there's some people that we grow out of that, of it's like Peter Pan, you lose that lost boy inside of you, and they forget that at one point we were all kids and we either wanted the latest video game or the latest toy or whatever, but they have no patience for their kids, and they don't see like, oh, why do you want, it's just a stupid toy, like why do you want it, you should grow up. Like I never tell my kid to grow up. It's like, don't grow up, because there's certain things that suck, like bills and work and all. I'm like, right now you have no worries, like someone is taking care of you, right? So not to go too far left, but I think it's that appreciation, like that fact that I can appreciate the fact that my kid wants something, and it's hard for him because he doesn't have unlimited money. He thinks that I have unlimited money, but I got to set those boundaries, all that stuff. But at the same time, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's a stupid toy, I'm not going to get it for you, and then that's it, it's the end of story. Instead of, it's like I can have a conversation with them and be like, hey, you know what, yeah, that's cool, let's make a goal, or like let's strive to get you that whatever, action figure or whatever toy he's into, because he's into so many different things, and I can be more supportive instead of just like pick up your toys or they're going in the trash type of thing.
Yeah, and that's a good perspective, because I don't have children, so I don't really think of it from that way. And for me, it's like I'm expressing my inner child by collecting. Like, oh, this is a way for me as an adult man to act like a kid and get away with it. But I posed the question, like, how would I be, would I recognize this variant version of myself if I was like not a collector? And I feel like that collecting mentality would probably just end up in some other type of collection. I would want to still collect, because I've always been a collector, and I think a lot of us are collectors of things. You probably started with trading cards, and maybe you advanced to Pogs at some point, and then you get figures, but I just feel like it probably would have produced itself at some other point. But I'm just thinking of like, hey, if I didn't collect, or if I didn't collect as much, what are some things I could do? Maybe I could travel a little bit more. I could invest my money a little bit better. Would I be richer now than I was prior? Like if you look and think about how much money have I spent on figures, it's probably an amount that's going to make you sick. It's like you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars.
But like, and
I'm not.
And some of us, I think, like some of us have gone through that phase where we stopped collecting. And like I for example, for myself, before my kids, I think I got a glimpse of me not the collector, and it was going out a lot and hitting up the bar, and I was like probably spending a lot like on these bar tabs, like where I was like, man, and then once I started collecting again, the going out stopped, because I was like, I just last weekend I just I spent a whole Legends wave at the freaking bar. Like that's insane. Like I can't be doing that anymore. Where then I didn't see the advantage of, like, that's not that fun. And I couldn't remember what happened, and I woke up with a headache. So it's like I need to scale back. So who knows? Like if I didn't collect, would I have continued gone down that path, or would I have just replaced it with collecting something else, maybe more expensive or less expensive? Would I have been walking around with a book of stamps, like I don't know, stamp collection, a rock collection? That would have been really heavy. Like who knows?
So it sounds like if Prime wasn't collecting, he'd probably be an alcoholic.
Instead of, I didn't do any pre-orders, I haven't had a drink in 3 months. Like
right. This has turned into an AA show. Like, hey, let's give you a token for not having that drink. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point. And I mean, the toys do bring us some joy.
Yeah.
at least me, and it's that creative outlet. So really just posing the question, but it sounds like it's not a life that I would really be a fan of, or I wouldn't even recognize myself. So it's hard to really think of it that way. But as we're talking about the variance, it's just kind of an idea that I had. But yeah, I mean, it's hopefully this helped you guys. Like, I'm sure there's other things that we probably didn't even touch on that about the not collecting as much, but collecting better.
Yeah.
So as you guys are hitting that like button on this episode, make sure to leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts. How could you collect better? What are some ideas that you might have that others aren't thinking about? What are some things that you're doing right now?
Yeah.
We're always trying to think of ways of how we can manage this hobby the best way possible. And I think me and Prime have been in it long enough where we're kind of looking at, okay, what are some other avenues I can go down to continue to make this manageable, pay my bills, have money to do what I want, go travel, and then still feel okay about it and have space in my house.
Yeah. Space is such a big thing.
It is. And the more that I collect, and me and you talk about this all the time offline, but the more I collect and the more I see how much stuff I have, the more I'm like, Jesus, it really makes me second guess that new Batman that's coming out, or that second Cousin Eddie that's coming out. Like, I really got to think about this a little bit differently. Maybe not because I'm struggling financially, I'm just struggling
with
just
space.
It's just like, ugh. It makes me a little bit sick when I think about it. Like, I'm gonna have to move all that at some point. I go out to the storage area with my wife, and she's like, "Okay, so this half of the wall is all of your toys."
The line is getting closer.
Yeah, and she's like, "Is that another new box?" No, that's not another new box. But we talked about with Trevor, he's also suffering his own space issues, and I think it's something that is really common for a lot of us. So just an idea to help you guys out there that are struggling with the space, that are struggling with the consumption, and just go collect. Nobody's going to judge you if you don't have that newer Legends figure until a couple of months down the line. You're the only person judging yourself. I guarantee nobody else out there cares. Unless you're a toy reviewer, I can see that side of it.
Yeah.
I get why you'd want to get stuff earlier. It makes total sense to me. But for the average everyday collector like me and Prime and some others out there listening, there's ways to do it a little bit better and not spend so much money or get so many figures.
But Budget Booth's coming back 2023.
Budget life, baby.
Budget life. Let's do it.
Yeah. So this actually is a great time. We won't do an episode on the budgets this year. We won't do that again, so I know you guys love it when we talk about budgets. But right now is a great time to build that budget for next year. Look at how much you spent. Try to track down. Okay, what's my receipts for the year? I know it's hard to look
let's
at.
Do a segment on let's do some 101, some Excel 101. Let's build a budget. Actually, figure Excel 101.
Let's get freaky in those Excel spreadsheets.
Let's get freaky in the cells.
But yeah, I mean, right now is a good time, and I know we don't like to look at how much we spent, but it's good to kind of project for the future. Put some money away so it's not such an emergency next time you want that pre-order. You feel better about yourself.
Oh yeah.
And not feel like, well, let me just charge this again, add it to the credit card bill. But yeah, speaking of our last episode, speaking of Trevor, if you did not catch our last episode, me and Prime had an amazing discussion with 1/6 shooter Trevor Williams, and just kind of picking his brain about how he collects and how he got into toy photography and the work that he does for Mythic Legion. So if you guys didn't catch that prior episode, go back, check that one out. After you listen to this one, you'll be happy that you did. That guy's a wealth of knowledge, and I've learned a lot from him. So
and I stumped
thanks
him.
To Trevor.
I stumped him. That was awesome.
Yeah,
highlight of my day.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find out what Prime stumped him with.
Yeah.
But this is the master of Mythic Legions here, Trevor.
Yeah.
And Prime stumped him.
That's it. He was done.
He
almost left. He almost got up and left. That's how upset he was.
He was triggered, man. He was triggered. But yeah, that was a great episode. So go check that out. If you guys aren't subscribed, what are you doing with your life? Subscribe to the Figure Booth. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss those new episodes. But we're not done yet. So yeah, great discussion. Thanks, Prime, for divulging there and adding your 2 cents. I think those are some great topics. And like I said, guys, let us know. What do you think about it? But there are some new figures talking about managing that collection and what
Let's
we're
get
buying.
ready for this. Let's buy some new
Yeah,
stuff.
there's some pre-orders out there, guys. And one of these, I want to say me and Prime predicted this.
Of course we did.
Of course, no one's going to give us the credit for it, but we had an episode sometime last year. It was probably a full year ago by now, where we're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's a mezco that I think would be a really cool release?" And
Yeah, we even
Prime
started a
is the one that
hashtag.
said it. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me. What was it? What was it, Prime?
Give me Dick Tracy. I was like, give me Dick Tracy.
Yeah, give me,
or give me
more
the Dick Tracy.
specifically, yeah, give me Mezco Dick.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You
Mezco
know?
Dick.
All right, and there it is. Dick Tracy versus Flat Top box set from Mezco Toys has dropped. The good thing is, it's not an exclusive.
Oh, so good. So glad. So happy.
Yeah, so you're not in a rat race to get it. This will be available at lots of different retailers, whether you like BBTS or Entertainment Earth or One Stop Toy Shop, whoever it is.
Yeah.
You'll be able to get it at all those different places and save a little bit more. You know, like I get people like to order standards through Mezco because you can use your points, but you know their shipping can be pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to save on shipping, order with One Stop Toy Shop. He offers free shipping on all of his orders. But yeah, going back to this, the Dick Tracy versus Flat Top box set. The second time they've done a box set like this, the first one was the Batman and Two-Face set.
Yeah.
I really like this release a lot. Very classic, and you have some childhood connection to Dick Tracy, don't you? Like you're into the show or no?
You know, and it wasn't even the show. I think it was the movie, the Warren Beatty movie with Al Pacino. Yeah, and
Yep.
Donna. So like that. I wasn't the biggest Dick Tracy fan, but just that movie was really nostalgic for me. I think after I know there was a cartoon after or before the movie, but it was the movie that I remember I would always get a kick. And then especially with that, like that movie came out, and I'm pretty sure like McDonald's or one of the fast food places came out with like Happy Meal toys, and I want to say like I had some like little Dick Tracy stuff and all his rogues, and then also like Playmates came out with a bunch of Dick Tracy figures too. It was like Warren Beatty and all the again his rogues gallery is like they have some off the wall characters. So at that when that came out, I was probably like 10 or 11. So hey, what kid doesn't like Dick Tracy and a watch that you can talk into? Like that was the
Calling
future.
Dick Tracy.
That was the future. I was like, man, I can't wait to have a watch that's like. It's gonna be the future, flying cars and watches you can talk into.
Yeah, a mix of old and new.
Yeah, it was cool.
Tracy. It was weird that way. How the show felt futuristic, or the movie felt futuristic, but also not like very classic,
like 1920s, 50s era.
Yeah, we had the radio watch and some other unique stuff in the show, and it was just a very like the Warren Beatty version of Dick Tracy was the only one I was familiar with as well when I was younger.
Yeah.
And this seems to be more of a comic style.
Yeah.
I really like the head sculpts, that really big jaw. I've seen a lot of people saying, hey, I'm going to use this as my Bruce Wayne. Like that's a great Bruce Wayne head. Yeah, I can see that too, for sure. Like an animated Bruce Wayne. Because these look like animated head sculpts to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of cartoony.
Yeah. I wish he would have came with I don't know what else he could have came with, but I feel like accessories are a little lackluster. Like they're just I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't wow me.
I know what you mean.
And maybe it's just because it's just just some hands and like he comes with a couple guns. Okay, he comes with the guns, the clips, the flashlight, the watch, the coffee, and then that's it. Like I don't know. Again, I don't know what else I was expecting, but.
Yeah,
maybe because I've been spoiled by the PSCC gang set that they came with like a barrage of freaking accessories, and it was just like so much that Dick Tracy. I was like, that's it. Like, huh?
Yeah, I hear you, and
felt a little flat.
Yeah. Oh, very clever. A little flat top.
A little flat top-ish.
But yeah, I mean, when you look at this too, you're like, oh, I hope he comes with more than that.
Yeah, because just like,
it's a lot of hands. He comes with a fedora,
handsy.
which, we've seen the fedora before in a lot of other releases. This is just colored differently.
Yeah.
He does have this really nice trench coat.
Yeah.
And
Guys.
with the Mezco tailoring, he's got this suited body, which I love the suited body. I
Yeah.
got to say, that's probably one of my favorite aspects about Dick Tracy.
Makes a good Clark
But then,
Kent.
yeah, some of his other accessories we've seen before.
Yeah.
Like the badge, I think we saw in Gordon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He also, I think Gordon came with flashlight, maybe not.
I think so too.
Okay. Then you got the coffee cup, which I think is new.
Yeah.
The watch, which is new, and then the watch communicator.
Yeah.
But I know I've seen this Tommy gun before.
Yeah.
The revolver, the smaller pistol, and the blast effects. I mean, the blast
Yeah.
effects are becoming so common now that they just don't really wow me anymore. I've got so many blast effects, but
Yeah.
then you get Flat Top, who also comes with his own. I mean, this is a really good cloth goods set, I will say.
Yeah, it is.
If you want some cloth goods, you got a bunch of jackets, you got pants, you got all kinds of stuff. He also comes with a lot of weapons, but a lot of this stuff we've seen before. I do like the gun case. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just more
And
of
then
like,
that's it. Like I wish it would have came with, I don't know, like some drinks. I don't know, like
or
a
some
bomb.
pals.
Yeah,
you know?
some pals would have been cool too.
Yeah, like some
But-
word bubbles.
But
And
then
they've done
I
it
don't know.
before.
Yeah.
So it seems like a weird omission, especially from a very comic looking set.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested, it's still up for pre-order as you're seeing here. And this isn't the only place you can get it. Like I talked about, $195 with a $40 NRD from Mezco. So get it if you guys want it. And if you guys have points, this is a good one to use points on at Mezco. Let's see. Venom. I think we talked about this, but I couldn't find a pre-order for it. Finally, it's gone up on BBTS. Although I will say, if you're going to be pre-ordering Japan import figures, pre-order from a Japanese site right now because the conversion rate from yen to dollars is insanely good.
Yeah.
I think I just got charged for the Mofex Classic Costume Spidey, and it was $55 from yen to US. So it was really cheap.
Yeah.
I still got to pay for shipping, so that's going to add on to it. But I'm going to beat the BBTS price, no problem.
I was going to say, I just paid for mine too with shipping, and it came out to $77.
Yeah, and it's like $105 on BBTS just to start.
Yeah.
So yeah, pre-order your import figures on import sites, guys. You'll save a lot of money. Don't wait for BBTS because they upcharge. $135 for a SH Figure Arts is a lot to ask for. Yes, it's Carnage. Yes, it looks pretty amazing. But that's a lot for a SH Figure Arts, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, those look badass.
Yeah. It does look really good, though. I mean, I can't deny this looks really good. It's probably one of the best Carnages I've seen.
Damn. Yeah, it does. Makes me want to get rid of my Legends one.
There you go. Collect better, right?
Yeah, telling you.
We got some more Marvel Legends. We've got a new wave of some classic X-Men.
Man.
So I think it's 2 different 3-packs.
Yep.
We've got Forge, Storm, and Jubilee in the first pack, and then you've got Banshee, Gambit, and Psylocke in the second pack.
Yep.
I think Psylocke, I know, is really hard to get your hands on, and she's expensive.
Yeah.
So this might be a punch in the gut for people like, I just want a traditional looking Psylocke. I don't want her in her X-Men outfit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like these outfits, but they're not like a must have. The only one I want to have is Banshee. So with this, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just wait because hopefully they'll do a retro release. They'll do a single release. And if they don't, I'm sure somebody might piece off or sell it in pieces because I'm not a fan of Gambit in that outfit. Psylocke, I'm okay. But like Jubilee and Storm, I'm not a fan of them in that outfit. Forge, it's just an updated Forge, which I'm okay with the previous version. I'm not crazy about it. But Banshee, to me, I'm like, damn, I need a Banshee for my collection. And I prefer him in that yellow and blue outfit.
Yeah, and Banshee, I think for me looks the most unique here.
Oh, I freaking love. I don't know why, but I'm a huge Banshee fan.
Yeah, you've got the cape thing going on his arms, and then his head sculpt.
He comes with the screaming face sculpt.
Yeah. There's a lot of reuse with the body here, which kind of turns me off. Like, okay, it's the same body. You're really just paying for a bunch of different head sculpts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're heavy in the X-Men, you're looking for a team up, this is a good option.
Awesome. Yeah, you get the whole team in 2 sets.
Yeah.
You know? Prices, it's a little steep. I've been seeing some conversation, some
75.
dialogue around like, oof, it's like $25 a pop for each figure, but
that is a lot.
You complete the team, and I mean that's the going price for an average Legends now. Like you see that Rogue $24.99, like
Mm-hmm.
you know, and again, collect smarter, you know, collect better. So it's like
collect better.
you know that if you're okay with that price point, oh, that's awesome. For me, I'm like I don't know if the accessories alone, like they need to really. I'd rather spend a little bit more and get a different type of figure. Like I don't know. To me, $24.99 for just like an extra hand or two and no extra head sculpt, it's not worth it for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And I feel like in these
Yeah.
sets, they should be offering a smaller price point just because you are getting 3 figures. You're supporting the brand. So don't charge me $25 a figure because that's the retail price. Maybe just knock off like $10.
Yeah.
You know, just give me something to where I feel like I'm getting a good deal. Other one is the Blob. We got the Blob here, but speaking of cost, he's $56.
Man,
that's a lot for one Marvel Legends. In my
opinion. I saw him and I'm like, oh, I need to get the Blob so I can complete my Brotherhood of Evil. And saw that price, I'm like, I'm gonna wait Black Friday or like, you know, somebody will get them and they'll just they're gonna be so tired of Blob that they're gonna. I can see them going down for like $30 or something. I'll pick them up for 30.
Yeah,
but almost $60. No.
Yeah, and it's not like these are going to be hard to find. You know, just wait, people. Be patient. You will save money. I promise you. I think the other one is just I've seen this up a little while, but you've got a 5K Toys S Hero Studio 1/12 Agent Venom. I don't know if you're a big Agent Venom guy. This looks cool, but
it looks cool.
Yeah, not really up my alley.
Yeah, those shoes are a little. He's wearing wedges, so I'm not. I'm not okay with Venom wearing wedges.
He's wearing like
he's wearing like Mary
Christopher
Jane
Columbus shoes.
Yeah,
they look like something that you'd get from the 1800s.
He's like, I'm here to conquer and conquest.
Yeah, he's dropping off the boat. He's like, hey, I'm ready to take over some land.
Yeah.
But, you know, to each their own. If you've been dying for Agent Venom, here you go. Swap those feet out. You'll have your Agent Venom.
There you go.
Cool. So that's the pre-orders for this week. Well, I'm sure we'll cover more in our next Motivation Monday.
Yep.
Plastic confessions. Do you have any plastic confessions?
You know, not this week because they're in transit. So I don't even want to say what I'm getting, but I have like 4 pre-orders on their way. But
nice.
Yeah, nothing this week.
So maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time.
So Prime's getting a token. I've got a couple. Shout out to my good friend English W, Bill English. One of the things I could not get at Legions Con was the Mythic Legions Alithia figure. She's one of the 4 horsemen.
Nice.
And this is starting to sell out in some different sites. I couldn't find it on BBTS or some other sites. So I put it up in our Discord. It's a great thing about those Discords. You can say, hey, I'm in search of this. And Bill DM'd me and said, hey, let's work something out. So we did kind of like a 3-way trade deal where he got something, I got something.
Nice.
It was great. So I'm very happy to get this. Thank you, Bill, for sending me Alithia.
Awesome.
I was a little concerned I wouldn't be able to find her. And then I found the NECA, The Last Ronin.
Oh, nice.
The armored version. This figure is really badass.
Looks dope.
Yeah, lots of glare there. So sorry, guys, but you get an idea of what it looks like. Really, really cool figure. I like this figure a lot. So I can't wait to take some shots of it. Huge Turtles fan. I can't resist the NECA Turtle stuff. But that's my plastic confessions for the week. If you guys have plastic confessions, throw them down in the comments. Let us know.
Let us know. Yeah.
We want to hear what you guys are picking up. There's a lot of stuff out there right now. All right. Next topic, going into Nasty Nate's dirty trick for the week, centering around toy photography. And we're in the festive mood where you're going to see a lot of Christmas style shots.
It's Festivus.
So I thought, hey, yeah, it's Festivus for the rest of us, right? So I was like, hey, let's focus on how you can create snow in your photos. There's 2 different ways. There's a lot of other ways you can do it. People probably have other ways better than what I'm telling you here. These are 2 ways that I know of. The first one, a bit easier. You can buy these felt pieces, and this one's huge. There's like a lot here. But you go to like a dollar store or a craft store, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, whatever you want to call it. Even at Target, you can find this stuff. This is just white felt. Just white felt. But what I'll do is I will cut it to size for a dial that I'm using. The thing is, you don't have to cover the entire floor with it, right? So
Yeah.
I only need to cover the area that you guys can see in front. So I'll put usually a little bit of it right in front of a figure, and then I'll position everything back here.
Okay.
So you can put it underneath the figure. Sometimes you got to have some good balance there because it obviously is extra material in between the feet and the ground. Or you can fake it and kind of put it in front. But I use this white felt a lot. If you look back at last year, I used it a lot in some shots. Another way you can do it, if you want falling snow, which you guys will see here in our Figure Aficionado, he did some falling snow in his shot.
Yeah.
But if you're wondering, how do people get falling snow? They're not outside when they're taking those photos most of the time. They're inside. One way that I know of is you use one of these strainers. This is a bigger one. You can use smaller, but these are just, strainers that you would find at any kind of,
dollar store,
kitchen utensil. Yeah. Dollar store. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this thing. Go cheap. But what I would normally do is you put flour or powdered sugar in here, or whatever you guys want to use for that white material.
Yeah.
And you just shake it over the top of the figure. So as you're taking your shot, like I've told you guys before, get a tripod, set it up on a timer, get your lights set up. And then when you click start on that timer, give yourself like 10 seconds and get this over the figure and start shaking it back and forth.
Shake it like a salt shaker.
Exactly. Shake it like a salt shaker. To Prime's point. But you shake that back and forth, the flour or the powdered sugar will start to fall out and drape over the figure and fall just like natural snow.
Nice.
So it works well. I've done it maybe once before. I haven't done it a whole lot, but I know it works. So yeah, hopefully that helps you guys if you're trying to figure out how to get snow in your shots. I'm sure there's other ways out there. And if you guys are listening, comment if there's another way to do it, because I'm sure everybody, including myself, could benefit from that. So share that knowledge. That's what that's all about. Cool. Last but certainly not least, and I did see that someone commented on our last video with some Figure Aficionados. I'll get that one of those into this next episode.
Nice.
So thank you guys for doing that.
I like that.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in featuring a friend in the toy community that does toy photography, maybe it's not even a friend, somebody that you know, somebody that's just getting started, or somebody that's been well established and we haven't talked about them, let us know. We'd love to feature them. We try to shed light on people that maybe haven't had the spotlight on them very much. So I got the opportunity. Mezco DM'd me and they said, hey, we need your help in getting some photographers for Fan Feature Friday.
Nice.
And they wanted to do Holiday Gomez specific. So I was like, great, I'd love to do that. I actually asked Prime, I was like, hey, I need some help selecting shots. Because it was so specific to Holiday Gomez, I was having a hard time finding a lot of them. But I did find some accounts that I was not following, and now I am, and I'm glad that I had the whole thing happen. So this is one of the accounts that got featured and that I'm now following. His name is paper.lens.tech. And he's a great photographer. This is the shot that got featured.
Look at that snow.
Yeah, and he's got snow.
Hey. Full circle.
I don't know if he did it in the method that I'm talking about. It looks like he might have, because you can kind of see it.
That's cool. It's being captured. Yeah. Looks so natural. Yeah,
it looks really natural here. So he doesn't provide a BTS, so I couldn't really verify for sure how he did this, but I'm assuming it's maybe one of the ways that we talked about. I really like this shot. It just really got me in the holiday spirit, and it's a great showcase of Holiday Gomez, which was the point. So that's one of them.
It was liked by me and 304 other people, or 303 other people
in the figure booth.
Oh,
there we go.
Figure booth.
Yeah, you got me, Prime, and I think Fabio right there.
Nice.
Well,
what else more could you ask for?
Yeah. But if you scroll on this guy's work, he's got a lot of great shots. Here's a cool Sub-Zero Scorpion shot that he did from last year. These are quite a bit older, but if you go through, this guy's just got a lot of great work. And he's very diverse in the work that he does. I like this PSCC shot. All of them on a motorcycle, kind of just causing chaos, numpty dumpty. This Wolverine shot's great. Really cool showcase of the Wolverine figure. But yeah, he does really good work, and I think he deserves some more followers. So if you guys are listening,
we better follow him since we're on here.
Yeah, let's give him a follow here too.
But yeah, that's awesome.
If you guys are listening, go check out Ash paper.lens.tech. Give him a follow. Check out his work, and maybe comment on a few of his photos. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. But yeah, big shout out to you, Ash. Congrats on being featured. I'm glad it worked out, man. And keep up the work, dude. You're killing it.
That's awesome. Awesome, man. Yeah. We did it. You guys made it. Made it to the finale.
The fun flies by on the figure booth.
I'm telling you. And you guys don't forget, this month it's our first official figure booth giveaway. We're ending the year strong. Tag me, tag Nate on your budget dial shots, and you have a chance to win a Wave 3 budget dial for yourself. And then tag a friend, one friend, and then they'll win too. So I'm giving away 2 budget dials. It's the latest one, Wave 3, and we'll be announcing the winners in January, probably one of our first live streams. But yeah, there you go. Nate has a picture of it right now. And if you guys want more details, or you forgot what the post rules were, go to my page. You'll see the post there. And so far, there's only been a handful of entries, so the chances of you winning are really, really good.
Yeah, this is easy, guys. Like easy. This is free money sitting on the table that Prime is willing to offer you for the holidays.
Yeah.
So yeah, go to Prime's page. You can see all the contest rules here. Subscribe to the figure booth. You follow me in Prime. You post your budget dial pick, and you tag us, and that's your entry. You can get a budget Wave Dial 3 for you and a friend. It's pretty generous of Prime to do that. So take advantage of it while you can. These opportunities don't come up very often. So don't hesitate, guys.
Yeah. And if you want to keep up with everything that I'm doing, all under Prime to the First on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you need an arcade for the last minute Christmas present, you don't know what you want an arcade, check out prime-arcade.com. And there's a ton of arcades to choose from. If you want your very own, you want to suggest a custom request, there's an entry form. Fill it out, and then I'll try to respond to you as quickly as possible. And then we work things out, and then I'll shoot you an invoice. And that's how you get the custom request process started.
Yeah, Prime's always innovating. So if you have one that you're like, I don't know if he can do this, maybe try him out, because he might surprise you that he can. He's done some pretty unique stuff in the past. So yeah, check out primearcade.com, get yourself an arcade. But yeah, shout out to all the Primes privates, the Booth Brigade, Nate's Nards, all you guys that are out there supporting us. We really appreciate you. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the Figure Booth on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we go live or post new episodes. And you can find me at figurefan_Nate on Instagram, Vero, and Facebook. And we appreciate you guys listening.
Till next time, guys.
Next time.